This is NDTV, and you're watching Classics.
Hello and welcome to our Tryst with Destiny, the series of shows in which we try and look back at 60 years of India's independence and then look ahead at where India is heading today. Today we are focusing on sports in India, or some would say the lack of sports in India. There's no doubt about one fact: the people of India love to watch, follow and cheer sports. But the reality is they have very little to cheer about. So what ails the jock? To discuss the challenges and solutions for sports in India, we have specialists who make India proud. Vijay Amritraj, India's greatest ever tennis player, now a commentator and a wonderful commentator too. Mansur Ali Khan Pataudi, widely considered the best captain of cricket India has ever had. Harsha Bhogle, often called the thinking woman's sports crumpet. A great analytical mind for sports and lectures around the world today on how sports applies to management. Ashiwini Nachappa, India's Flojo, or even better actually, 100-meter and 200-meter sprint queen in the early 90s. Probably the most difficult area to achieve excellence in India. That makes us proud. Well, we all know that India's record over the last 60 years in sports has been pretty bad. Apart from cricket and the occasional tennis player of world class, the rest has been a sad story. From the lack of medals at the Olympics to the decline of hockey today. So has India missed one basic factor about sports? Is sports really all about money, honey? If you don't have rich superstars in sports, in particular sports that attract the youngsters, you won't get good sportsmen. Because the youngsters also want to be rich and famous. Vijay, have we missed a trick in this? That, you know, with our socialist background and federations controlling thing, we think that, you know, sports is all about spirit. But people look up to heroes and then they try and emulate them, youngsters. Is it really all about money?
Well, I think the first and most important thing is the fact that the game has become a profession. It has taken the sport out of it and it has become a profession.
All games.
Across the board.
Right.
Number one. Number two is, if we want to compete at the international level, then we need to do things like everyone else does in different parts of the world. So that has also changed every decade to a great extent. Our culture, to a great extent, is a very safe culture. We're very safe.
Yes.
You know, we carry our books to school, we come out of school, we go to college. Once we go to college, we get a job. You still can't get married till you get a job. You must have a car, you have a place to stay, and then you get married. We follow a pattern as to where we do things. Yes. Sport is a chance. We play the greatest games in the world. We can work as hard as we want, stay as fit as we want, but at the end of the day, it is still a chance. Yes. And however great you get, it's a very small percentage that gets to the top. So are we willing to take that chance? And that's where the question needs to be answered.
Right. In a way, young Indians today are taking are tremendous on Wall Street. They're the real motor behind the success in Wall Street now. So they take chances on the stock market. Of course, somebody else's money.
Absolutely. But I think as far as our sport is concerned, because there is no sort of guarantee to follow through, you have to go through school and college. Now, if you look at the Westerner to a great extent, he is willing to take that chance. He's okay not to go to school. I mean, in my sport, the great Roger Federer. You know, I mean, he's the greatest player we've had, of course, in quite a while, and certainly.
They say could be the greatest ever.
Arguably the greatest ever, and I still will question that down the road. But I think the important thing is that, are we talking about, did he finish his graduate course? Is he going to do a postgraduate? What's he going to do after tennis? Nobody's questioning that. But for every Federer that comes out, of course, you know, unless you're a chocolate in Switzerland, you're really not going to make it fame and fortune, so to speak. Right. So you really have to sort of go back and look at it and say, is our culture to some extent playing it too safe?
There's a 10 standard syndrome as well. I mean, Vijay talked about getting married, but long before that comes the 10 standard syndrome. Children start getting pulled out in the 8th and 9th. In the 8th, they start being given 9 standard textbooks. Once you get into the 9th, you do nothing till your 10 standard exams. And the reason we do
Just focus on-
and the reason we do well trading at Wall Street is because you do that at 24, 25, 26, when you take your own decisions.
Yes.
You learn to play sport at 12, 13, 14. You have to become good by 16, 17, 18. You've got to become very good by that age.
But tell me, you're a mathematical bent of mind.
No.
No? But life is all about probabilities.
Oh, I thought that was good enough to stop your question. No.
No, this is not
No,
high
fair
maths.
comment.
Life
Yeah.
is all about expectations. And whether you expect to make money or expect to be successful is the prize money multiplied by the probability of being successful, of being a great sportsman. Now, as Vijay says, probabilities are very low, 1%. So the prize money has to be very high for the multiple of the two to be worth it. Right? If you're 100% sure of being successful, you can take a low salary. But if you're 1% sure, it better be worth it. So is it then, probabilities you can't change, but you can change the money at the end
I
of
actually
it?
think you can, Prannoy, because if the prize money is huge, then more people come in. So while the probability in mathematical terms might remain 0.01 or 0.001, but the sheer numbers in there will start driving the standard up and will actually change the probability, I think. The probability of a young kid growing up in California, where Vijay lives most of the time, 3 months of the year,
Thank you.
has a better chance of making it because there's so many more people playing there than there are in Trichy. So I actually believe that the probability can change if the prize money increases and becomes attractive enough for more and more people to get in.
But to add to that, Harsh, the issue is also the fact that he or she in the US or Western countries for that matter are willing to take that chance and say, okay, I'm willing to do homeschool. I'm willing to study on the road. I'm willing to do my
Ashwini,
degree on the road.
Now, you did two things. One, you went into a sport where there's no money, especially in India, and you excelled in it. Did you give up all your academics to focus on it, or you kept both going together?
No, I kept both going together.
So what makes you tick then?
Before I answer that question, I think the education system is such and our culture is such where we don't consider sports as a way of life in our country. We still have, after 60 years, sports as an extracurricular activity and not as a part of the education curriculum. So really children have no option but to get a 95% today. And if you don't get a percent of 95%, the attitude, parents are not willing to send their children into any sport.
But
because
are parents also worried, or how will you make a living? You know, there's no money in it.
it's a big
athletics.
risk, Prannoy. It's a big risk that one takes. And most of these athletes who come are from a very average, mediocre family. So the amount of money that you spend.
Mansur or Tiger. When you went into cricket, at that time, there was not big money. So it's just natural talent that got you there. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to make a lot of money, let me work hard at it. It was,
Prannoy, when I was playing, people may not have made money, but they got job securities. I mean, every cricketer would be working with, State
Bank of India
or a public sector company or a private company. So in that sense, he was well set. And for them, I think that was enough. Today, of course, this whole thing has changed.
How much has changed now? Now you're a superstar, you're seen on television, your ads, you stay in 5-star hotels.
You get contracts with NDTV.
Yes, right. We are trying to promote sports in our own little way.
Good shot, Harsh.
I think that two ways to look at this. One is sports as a profession, where, of course, you need a lot of money once you reach a certain level. But as she said, to look at sport as a part of your education. This, I think the government should take a greater interest in. The government will be unable to produce world-class beaters, I don't think. It's not their job.
But again, Vijay, are we relying too much on the government? Like this doesn't work. The government should step in.
Prannoy, I've said
Shouldn't
it.
all of us, like NDTV,
I've said it time and again.
promoting sports?
I have said it time and again that you have to have specialists do what specialists can do. You do not hire a marketing person to run technical.
Right.
You do not hire someone who's good in administration to be an anchorman.
Well,
so you have to.
some of them could be much better.
Could be both. But on the other hand, you have to have specialists who can do it. Now, the government has their hands full completely in running the country.
Right.
And there's so much that needs to be done, and there's so much money that needs to be spent. We're always trying to borrow from Peter to pay Paul. It's always a difficult equation to follow. And that I can clearly understand that, and that is of vital importance. Now, the sporting aspect of it, which has now become an incredible business opportunity for a variety of companies, television, media, athletes, and so on and so forth. It's a great opportunity for more youngsters to get into it. And the times when Mansur and I played our respective sports, Ashiwini, of course, came much later on, but I think the important thing for us was the fact that we needed to excel to get a job.
You know, Ashiwini, they say in America, the fastest runners at school and at high school go into American football. They don't go to athletics because that's where the money is. Olympics, you get a gold medal, but you don't get the money. Is that ever going to happen in India, that people will go into sports because the money is there? And you play for your country.
I'd be happy if generally children get into sports, period, whether it's athletics or football.
Right. You don't
But
think
there are
enough
two things
people...
that Ashiwini is saying here. One is on the promotion of sport at the grassroots level, which is important in schools and kids across the board. But the other thing is a quest for excellence, which is a different issue altogether, where we're trying to win medals and you're trying to win Davis Cup or Thomas Cup or cricket matches and so on and so
I think
forth.
the quest for excellence is coming now in India,
Yes,
because
it certainly
people are seeing prosperity across the BPO sector, they're seeing prosperity in pharma sectors, they're seeing all that. But see the areas we're doing very well in. We win all the spelling bees.
Right.
We're doing very well at chess. There's been a revolution in chess in this country that Vishwanathan Anand literally been the Pied Piper. He's brought a whole generation in. But we're doing those because it's okay from a family point of view. You can play chess sitting at home. You don't have to go an hour to a playground. Absolutely. And chess is an okay thing to do, you know, because it's 5 minutes away or 2 minutes away from your maths textbook.